Well, there I was, minding my own business. I was taking my morning walk in the neighborhood, and I saw estate sale sign. And it was in the same general quadrant that I was going to be walking into. So I walked up there. I was taking a particular route, and the signs kept pointing to the same direction I was going. And it turned out to be the house that had the estate sale. The estate sale was going to be open at 9 a.m. It was about 10 minutes prior to that. I didn't want to wait around, but I was interested. So I went and finished my walk, came back home. It was a couple-mile walk. I took a shower, had breakfast, and then I drove back up to the estate sale and looked around, and it was kind of a typical, sale with older people, older than me, a lot of trinkets and, knickknacks and that kind of stuff. I was kind of feeling down, like not really much interesting, and I went to the last bedroom, and in the closet, I saw the case, and I said, okay, that's an Olympia case. I saw the $10 sticker. I didn't even open the case to look at the machine. I grabbed it, went out front, paid my money, and it turns out to be an Olympia SM4 with a script typeface. Yes, an SM4 in script. Well, this isn't the first Olympia that I've found at an estate sale in the neighborhood. A couple years ago, I found a late model SM9. It was like a 1978 SM9, the second to the last year. Paid about $20 for that one. So for some reason, this neighborhood seems to have people that had bought Olympia typewriters. And there was an Olympia dealer, yes there was, in Albuquerque, although this machine doesn't have any dealer stickers either on the typewriter itself or on the case. What it did have in it, however, when I opened up the case, is it had this light brown envelope which says SCM Smith Corona. And on the back, it says an Enterprise XT, date of sale, March 19th, 1985. And that turns out to be one of these correctomatic kind of Smith Corona typewriters. So apparently somebody had just thrown all their typewriter ephemera into this one case for this typewriter. But when I removed this typewriter from the bottom half of the body, this was underneath it. This is the actual Olympia, and it says SM4. Olympia SM4, the actual user's manual. Well, so it has an original or an old ribbon, an all-black ribbon, and of course this is a script typeface. So the ribbon, the bichrome, is actually a monochrome selector. You have stencil and you have ribbon, and that's it. There's only two positions. So you have to use a monochrome ribbon unless you want some kind of a dual color funky thing with a bichrome ribbon, but it's really best just to use a monochrome ribbon. So I did some test typing on this. The ribbon certainly needs to be replaced, but I'll tell you, it's a beautiful typeface, and I did not have a single type bar jamming up or sticking. In fact, the only thing I could see wrong right now that I need to address, and I'm going to do some cleaning to it. Well, first of all, you probably know about the bushings on these SMs that get compressed and need to be replaced. Well, right now, this machine, the bushings are not rubbing enough to make the carriage hang up or rub, and there's no indication of any wear on the ribbon cover. There's like the carriage return arm has not even touched the ribbon cover. But what it does not do properly is it doesn't set the tab. The tab set little arm that's supposed to press the slug down, it doesn't go all the way down. And so that could be, the linkage for that could be, gummed up or whatever, but I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and replace the bushings anyway, because it's probably going to need it. And in case you're not familiar with that, let me flip this up here. There are 4 bushings between the body and the chassis, these 4 big bolts underneath them that you want to replace. They get compressed over time, and they'll cause the carriage to sit a little lower and hang up on the body shell. So I'm going to do that first, and then clean this and go from there. And put a new ribbon in it, of course. Well, this machine is incredibly clean. Just a little bit of dirt on the bottom, but it looks remarkably clean. It was very well taken care of by its owner. Well, not super crushed. So this is the original bushing, and then I have 4 of these. They have a little split in them, grommets I guess you call these, but they are thick enough. So I'll probably just go ahead and use these 4. Oh, that one went inside the machine. I have to go fish that one out. And then I'm going to do this one and that one the same way. Okay, so I've taken off the rear panel again, and all of these tab slugs I have lubricated with a little bit of naphtha repeatedly, and they feel much lighter. I think they were really hard to move is one of the problems. And then the other problem is the tab set lever back in here, I think right about there, needed to be lubricated. So now I can set a tab slug like that, and I can clear it. So I can do multiple tab slugs. And then the master clear will clear them all. So I think it was just, that's what it was. Okay, so I'm cleaning up the paint, and what I found works really good is some of this spray car wax. It's like a clear, watery liquid, and it smells like juicy fruit. Wrigley's Juicy Fruit chewing gum, oddly enough, but it cleans the paint, cleans the dirt off the paint without damaging the paint. Does a really good job. So that's what I usually do for cleaning paint on these typewriters, especially smoother paint finishes. Well, the SM4 is essentially the same as an SM3, except it has the tabulator features. But starting up here on the carriage, we should probably mention, first of all, this key right here. This is actually the carriage lock. Get it set right there. When it's up, you put it up with the carriage to the left of center and then push it back and it'll lock the carriage. It's a positive lock. So we have line spacing selector 1, 1.5, and 2. So this is a half line machine. Single line spacing is click, click, 2 half clicks. So the paper bale has a scale on it, 2 rubber rollers that are adjustable, and then 2 fingers right here, which is really nice. The main paper scale back here, well, both the paper bale and the main scale have a centering mark, a red triangle indicating the middle of the carriage that helps you center the paper. The margin settings are very nice. They have the push, actually the squeeze and slide margin settings with the nice red indicators. So everything is nicely labeled, precisely labeled. An adjustable paper guide right here, and on the right side you have the nice telescoping paper support finger. That is always very cool. And then this lever back here is the variable disconnect, the infinite variable disconnect. This is the temporary disconnect. When you set it back to lined spacing, it'll go back to the same spacing as it was before. So in the front here, it has 2 plastic card guides that are spring-loaded. They have holes here for drawing lines and a typing line indicator. And on the right side, we have another carriage release lever, paper release lever, and you notice the paper release will lift up the paper bale, which is really nice. And then this lever right here is the all clear for the tabs. Just pull it forward, that'll clear all the tabs. Right platen knob has the permanent variable for the line spacing. You push this button to move it and it'll permanently change the line spacing. Lifting up the lid for the ribbon cover, we're using 2 original metal Olympia spools, and it has the adjustable touch selector right here on the right side, and of course the type slugs themselves. And then the keyboard, so this does have a number 1 and a plus key, equals, exclamation mark, the 2 fractions that are typical in American typewriters. It's an American keyboard, shift and shift lock. And you notice the 2 shifts on either side are independent of each other. And when you do the shift lock, you have to use the left shift to release it. Backspace is here, margin release here, and then, of course, the space bar, but then you have tab set and clear, and the tab key itself. So that's what differentiates this from an SM3. And also, because it's a script typeface, the bichrome setting is a monochrome setting. So you basically have a blue dot for lifting the ribbon, using the ribbon, and then a white dot for no ribbon, or basically stencil. So it's a monochrome plus stencil setting. So it has a nice sounding bell, and it's built to typical Olympia high quality standards. Well, let's do a little bit more typing, shall we? So the feed rollers have a slight flat spot in a couple of them, but it seems to feed paper pretty reliably. This paragraph here, by the way, is the slightly used purple ribbon. It has a pretty nice imprint. The ribbon could afford to be a little bit darker, but the machine has a good alignment, and the letters look perfect, and it's just a beautiful typeface. Okay, so after maybe a couple hours of cleaning and everything, I replaced the 4 bushings on the bottom with grommets and cleaned up the machine pretty thoroughly, cleaned the type slugs, and also I didn't have a brand new monochrome ribbon. The only bulk ribbon I keep is red-black, but I did have a slightly used purple ribbon, and it looks pretty nice. And also, oh yeah, fixed the tabulator issue on the back, and then cleaned up the case. This is the style of case, and also, by the way, the serial number, this is a 1960 SM4. And the case cleaned up pretty good. It was pretty dusty on the inside, a lot of debris. I had to use a mask when I blew this thing out. A lot of dust came out of it. But anyways, yeah, it's cleaned up pretty nice. And I really do, though, need to get a brand new ribbon for it. And also, the platen is pretty hard. So eventually, it would be nice to get some fresh rubber on this machine. But what a lovely machine. Well, it's been a while since I've found a great deal on a fantastic typewriter locally. And it was funny this morning on my walk, and as soon as I saw those signs for estate sale, the thing in the back of my mind was, look for a typewriter. But I was unable to get there until after breakfast, and I thought it was going to be a bust. I was looking through the house, the backyard, the garage, didn't see anything. Finally, I went to the last bedroom in the closet. Here it was. And the lady whose father, it was her dad's house, she said she was glad that I was able to get that typewriter. She said she broke a fingernail trying to open the case, and she didn't know she was trying to open the case upside down or something. So I thought it was funny. Anyways, a great deal, and cleaned up really nicely. Having a script typeface, one of these special typefaces, is especially nice. I think it's my only manual typewriter right now with a script typeface. And I'm going to be bringing it out this Sunday to our Typewriter Social at La Cafe here in Albuquerque. We have a social event every month, and we also have a writing-focused event every month. And if you're interested in all that, go to abqtypers.com and look at our schedule. But until next time, I wish you the very best with your writing creative adventures. Get your typewriter out and start writing. And as always, stay creative and have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye for now.